difficult with Graham Potter to know what team he's going to put out, what formation he's going to go with, because I think he's tinkered a little bit since coming in from Brighton. He's certainly, the opening game in the Champions League wasn't great, and then he's gone on from there. But he does tend to rotate the team quite often. 5 or 6 players tend to come out. He flips from a back 4 in the Premier League to 5 in the Champions League. So it'll be interesting. What I like about him is defensively, Chelsea are conceding less goals.
How much is that down to Kepa?
Yeah, I think he's been impressive. Kepa, I mean, coming in and changing your number 1 straight away, which is what he did. He gave Mendy a chance. He was in bad form when Potter came in, but Kepa's been phenomenal. I mean, for somebody that was wrote off by many, as a young goalkeeper, to then come back in and have the performances he's done, and and it was in all of the games played. He's had to save Chelsea in big moments. He's pulled off some really big saves. So he's certainly been important to this team, and especially, as I said there, when Chelsea are changing that back line from a 4 to a 5, sometimes if you have a constant keeper and somebody that's in form who you can trust behind you, I think gives those players that come in the confidence. But I'm excited by Potter being at Chelsea and what he can bring. I was excited when I watched him with the Brighton team. He's now got arguably better calibre of players to work with, hence why we're seeing the crazy formation changes and tactical changes, because he's such a good coach.
And Mount has been flourishing under Graham Potter as well. He's the only outfield player to have started every single game under the new manager, and he's set to make his 100th Chelsea appearance if he starts this game, which you'd expect him to, barring any injuries or anything happening. How much do you think his improvement this season is down to the fact that Graham Potter's clearly made him his main man?
Yeah, it could be, because we were talking about Brighton earlier on and why they don't score goals and how it's kind of similar to Potter before, because they had these players who were like technicians, like Mason Mount, you'd say at Brighton, not quite at that level, but players like that who aren't necessarily clinical, but they had a lot, and it seems like that's the way Potter likes his players to work. The thing with Mount is he's been good for a long time now. I was just thinking when you were saying there, remember when people used to say that he was like Frank Lampard was like teacher's pet or whatever, and that's the only reason he played, which was just nonsense. Like, he's always been really good. And yeah, Chelsea are a funny one because they haven't really had that number 9, well, like, for as long as anyone can remember. They've had famous problems with number 9, so they need other options, and Mount's got goals in him. He's shown that under previous managers. There's been so much chopping and changing at Chelsea, he's probably used to it. And Potter coming in, I think he's used to working with those players, likes working with those players, and knows how to get them in those areas to score goals. And we have seen him before. He knows how to finish. He's not ultra prolific, but you can see him carrying on and being a big part of this team. And also, obviously, with the World Cup coming up, he can make a bit of a push for that.
All right, guys, but we need to talk about Ronaldo, man.
We do need to talk about it.
We need to talk about it. I rate him.
Point.
What do you mean? Yeah, I rate him as one of the best players that ever.
Yeah, everyone rates him.
Yeah, I rate him still. That's it. That's what I'm saying on it. I rate him.
But what do you think about what he did this week?
All right, this is what I'm going to say, yeah? And hear me out first. I'm going to say it's wrong for what he did, and he shouldn't be doing that. But if there was one player that can do it...
Straight
no.
face.
If there's one player that can do it, it has to be him.
You don't even believe what you're saying. Now, if you're not sort of fully up to speed what happened, Manchester United played Tottenham in the week, and before the final whistle went, apparently Ronaldo refused to join the game late, and before the final whistle went, Ronaldo left. 89 minutes, still a minute left to go of the 90, and he left. I mean, Olivia, we can't make any excuses. As great as he is as a player, you don't do that to your teammates. No, you don't. And I think he now knows that. You don't do that to your teammates. He did come out and say it was heat of the moment, and, sometimes your sort of feelings do get the better of you in that moment. He has come out and since apologised on Instagram. So he obviously knows he was in the wrong, and he's come out and owned it there. You can see it there on the screen. He just said basically his emotions got the better of him.
Yeah, but you can't walk out and then apologise.
If you're going to you've got to stick.
Yeah. You've just got to walk out and be like, that's what I'm doing.
As long as he's gone and apologised to... He's probably gone and spoken to the manager, knowing Cristiano as a professional...
I think that last line is quite telling. This is Manchester United, and United, we must stand.
Yeah.
Soon we'll be together again. Does that mean they're not together yet?
Well, yeah, they're not going to be. They're not together on Saturday.
That's a good shout.
Ronaldo's not in the squad.
But the interesting thing here I see of that, he said that he lost himself a bit. Because we look at him as Ronaldo and such a great player and such a professional, we don't realise sometimes that he's actually human.
Agreed.
And the frustration takes over us sometimes, and no matter who we are, no matter how accomplished we are. So it's good to see that he's a human at the end of the day.
And I know you're human, so when I beat you in a quiz later, you're not going to cry on air.
You're not walking
Bro,
upset.
if you beat me today, you'll never see me here again.
Oh, but yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo, I think he's learned his lesson now, and we're not going to see him in the squad for the Chelsea game, but I'm sure we will see him the week after that. I'm sure after that it'll all be done.
Wages, but the people you work with are the ones who look after you, the ones that when you're having a bit of a problem, the ones who will help you get through it. And he's let them down by doing what he's done, because he's run away. He's on the conveyor belt. They need that last bit just to help him. Cristiano, and he's not there. He's gone. He's decided to go home early because he's not happy with a situation that the players can't control, so he's put them in the same boat as the people above. Those upstairs are causing a problem to him, but he's took it out on his teammates. The bloke has let them down.
I want to move on, but does he play for United again, in your opinion?
They could. I mean, I don't think the door's closed. I think the way
you don't think it's closed after that?
I think the manager's kept it open that way. If he's needed, he hasn't said anything that completely closes the door. For me, the answer to that can only come from the people who he works with, the players. They're the ones. Can they trust him when he's playing? The one thing that's been proven is that for Manchester United to be at their best, he can't be in that team. Yeah. Simple as that. And it happens to everybody, because the one thing that he can't control is time. And time is catching him up.
Yeah. It does go by so slowly, but it can do so much. Paul, thank you very much indeed for the moment. Shall we hear from Erik ten Hag? I think we probably should. He's the manager of Man United. Also, Graham Potter. Here they are.
I have a huge respect for Ten Hag and the job that he's done in his career and the quality as a coach. You can see that people adapt and people adjust as they go into the competition phase. So I think they've done well. They've obviously not a great start from their perspective, but they've battled back and they're getting points and they're playing well. So it's going to be a tough game.
It's nothing, I think, from that game. It's a different game, different team. Yes. So different players. We are further in the process. So I don't think, of course, I know more about him. And the first time he knew maybe more about me. And that is maybe an advantage, because he know more about Manchester United in the first game. So now I'm longer in the UK in the Premier League. Advantage because he tomorrow could fight. But it's not a fight between managers. It's a fight between teams. Chelsea, Manchester United.
I can't really comment because I don't know the ins and outs, but he's taken his stance. Sometimes you have to do that, and then you need the club to support. So from the outside, that's what's happened. Part of the job is to take some decisions that are difficult, but that's normal.
It's a difficult decision. It's clear, but I think it has to be consequences, a behavior. Or when it's a bad behavior and it's the second time, then you can't let it go, because otherwise it's going to be miserable for the future. And so then you have to take this measure, what I don't like, because you are right, I prefer the squad with Cristiano on board.
Now, I can't make any promises here to you. I try and be honest with you, dear listener, but we will try not to mention Cristiano Ronaldo again, because he is not here. He can't be bothered to watch Man United games, so why should we talk about him? Paul Parker is alongside me, a double Premier League winner with Manchester United, and he played for Chelsea. Paul, how's this game going to go? We're going to get a thriller here.
I actually thought during the week against Tottenham it wasn't going to be a good game. I thought it was going to be quite dour.
Yeah.
On the back of United's performance and the back of the way Tottenham have been this season. But it was a decent game only because Manchester United lifted their game and added creativity. This one here is generally always an end-to-end game that ends in a draw.
Yeah. It's
always quite open, this game. Never dull, but the fact of it doesn't always produce a lot of goals. I've said that hoping that I'm going to be wrong and there's going to be a lot of goals.
Well, it was a thrilling draw last year between these two teams, where Chelsea were managed by Thomas Tuchel and Man United were managed by Michael Carrick. Funny old world football. We'll see what happens when this game gets underway shortly. Stay with us. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Global events.
The priority now is collecting the evidence.
Breaking news.
Every life that they can save is a success.
Reactive analysis.
It's a very bizarre situation.
From the world's best journalists.
An unfortunate pattern is emerging.
And renowned experts from across the globe.
It still doesn't resolve the fundamental issues.
Keeping you informed as events unfold.
This is a flagrant violation of international law.
Times Radio is available to listen without a subscription. On DAB digital radio, online, via the Times Radio app, and on your smart speaker. Times Radio. Know your times.
TalkSport Drive. Weekday afternoons from 4 on TalkSport. A tower of sporting power in the afternoon.
Join me, Andy Goldstein, and TalkSport Team Drive.
The latest sports news, hard-hitting opinion, and exclusive interviews with the biggest names in the game.
Under the bonnet, over the top, into the back of the net.
Sports Mad Afternoon Radio, driven by you.
Revs up weekdays from 4, only on TalkSport.
The fastest football on the way home. TalkSport Drive. Previously on White and Jordan.
It costs the taxpayer zip, zero, zilch, nada, Nathan, nothing.
White Hot Sports News. Incomparable comment.
I mean, honestly, soft tissue injury, 50% up.
Okay.
And at the same stage last season, they don't lie.
Statistics are the beginning of a conversation, Jim, not the end of it.
Comments, conflict and confrontation.
International friendlies, ditch them. Gone. Carabao Cup, gone. FA Cup, gone.
Jim White.
4 words, never going to happen.
Simon Jordan.
Go away and come back when you've got something more grown up to say.
Continues weekday mornings from 10 on TalkSport.
Yeah.
Times Radio, making sense of a changing world.
The biggest names in politics.
The Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, is here.
Well, a great honour to be here.
The arts.
My first guest is the acclaimed director Werner Herzog.
Entertainment.
I'm joined by Darren Brown.
World events, at home and abroad.
Shots have been fired in the Black Sea.
And the world's best resourced, intelligent opinion.
I came into politics to change lives.
In times of change, be well informed.
Times Radio is available to listen without a subscription on DAB digital radio, online, via the Times Radio app, and on your smart speaker.
Times Radio.
TalkSport Breakfast. Weekday mornings from 6. A new day, a new dawn.
God bless, bang, 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 9 dart finish.
Featuring a rotating team of top name talent, including Laura Woods.
Oh, it does make me a little bit...
Ali McCoy.
What a mouth-watering prospect.
And Alan
and Brazil.
You know, you are some blagger, you are.
TalkSport Breakfast.
Look, we've woken up finally.
We have, we're off and running.
Weekday mornings from 6 on TalkSport.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Chelsea against Manchester United from Stamford Bridge. I'm your host, Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Manchester United and Chelsea defender, Paul Parker. This is Premier League Live. Chelsea in good form at this moment in time under new manager Graham Potter, unbeaten in 7 matches, winning 5. They've kept 3 consecutive Premier League clean sheets, and they look like a side that not only fancy Champions League qualification, they are a side that are looking at Arsenal, Man City, Tottenham, those above them, and thinking this title could be won this season. It could be the same story for Manchester United, though maybe coming from further back as they are, Champions League qualification next season is what Erik ten Hag has his eye on, and we certainly got a view of what the new boss is trying to achieve in that victory over Tottenham in midweek. In good form, all in all. They've won 3 of their last 4 Premier League away games, losing the other. 6 wins in their last 8, home and away. And they've got a very good record here as well. The Red Devils are unbeaten in 6 away games with Chelsea in all competitions. 3 wins and 3 draws. In fact, Chelsea's last Premier League win against Man United at Stamford Bridge was November 2017, when Alvaro Morata scored for Antonio Conte's side. Funny old world. Let's get to the team news, starting with Chelsea. Kepa Arrizabalaga in terrific form right now. His save percentage in the Premier League, the highest of anyone. 94% of shots that have come his way have been saved this campaign. Back 3, Marc Cucurella, Thiago Silva and Trevor Chalobah. Midfield, Ben Chilwell, Jorginho, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Cesar Azpilicueta. Front 3, Raheem Sterling, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Mason Mount. Bench, Edouard Mendy, Mateo Kovacic, Christian Pulisic, the USA captain, Armando Broja, Denis Zakaria, Hakim Ziyech, Conor Gallagher, Kai Havertz and Carney Chukwuemeka. As for Manchester United, David De Gea is in goal. Back 4, left to right, Luke Shaw, Martinez, Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane and Diogo Dalot, Casemiro and Christian Eriksen in central midfield. Fred drops out. Bruno in the number 10 role, Anthony on the right, Jadon Sancho on the left, Marcus Rashford up through the centre. On the subs bench, it's Tom Heaton, Victor Lindelof, Tyrone Malacia, Fred, Facundo Pellistri, Anthony Elanga, Scott McTominay, Garancho and Zidane Iqbal. Our referee is Stuart Atwell. Michael Oliver is today's dreaded VAR, and we are underway at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea all in blue, shirts, shorts and socks with white numbering and trim on the back of the shirts and white on the collar as well. They kick from right to left as we are looking in this first half, as Chelsea often do from our vantage point. Manchester United, the away side, they're wearing their home strip away from home, red shirts, white shorts, black socks. They kick from left to right as we are looking towards the shed end, away from their supporters as they are playing. A minute gone, Paul Parker's alongside me, shuffling around uncomfortably in his seat. I hope you're happy now to watch the game. What have you noted so far, apart from you're not quite tall up in your chair?
Well, to be honest, I put myself above you, Tom, so I feel absolutely great.
Where you belong.
I haven't noted a lot, but it's just both. Oops.
The ball's breaking off Chilwell here, and there's a chance for Raheem Sterling down the left-hand side, but the former Manchester City forward is offside from that deflection. Paul.
So I say the ball's just gone from back to forth. It really teams that both sides just getting their few passes in and then giving it away, then the other side's getting it back. So nothing's really materialised at this moment. But it's the first team that can grab hold of the ball and take the game on for me that will go out and get something from this game.
Just seen a little replay there of that break back to Raheem Sterling, and look, who knows anymore. They have the fancy lines and whatnot, but they look quite close, that, and of course you're meant to let it play on until you can be definitive. And you know, we've seen moments where they played for a good 20-30 seconds before the flag has gone up, and yet there, straight up, you just don't know, do you? No, terrible crossfield ball there from Dalot, by the way. It will be kept in on the far side by Shaw. In fact, no, it won't. Had to stretch out like he was in Cobra Kai to keep it in, but unable to do so.
Well, that's come about with overplaying. Dalot instead of looking forward, decided I'm going to go back. So he puts himself in that position, gets a little bit closed down, he panics, uses his left foot and ends up lofting the ball. I would say a good, almost the width of the pitch out for a throw-in.
Chelsea trying to unsettle Manchester United early as they play into the offensive third with Aubameyang on towards Sterling, cleared away by Manchester United. Chalobah will head back to Thiago, and Thiago will go all the way back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, all in yellow, away to our right. Briefly, Paul, I've mentioned Kepa a few times in the intro to the programme today. What are you made to his comeback and his incredible form, and his saves, certainly against Aston Villa, have stood out?
No, they certainly have, and it's fantastic when that happens to somebody, because he was on a big low. I mean, he got absolutely pasted everywhere he went by the media side of things. They go and bring in Mendy. Mendy had this incredible time in goal for Chelsea. I think he got the golden gloves, didn't he, as well, for Europe, whatever they call it, as a top goalkeeper in Europe, and you just thought there's no way back. But he's come through, and generally you have to turn around and say his confidence is somebody who believes in Graham Potter has turned up and he's believed in him. Yes, Mendy didn't help himself prior to Graham Potter, but Graham Potter has stood by him and said, right, you're my keeper, and that makes a difference, I think, to anybody, but I think more so a goalkeeper, because the margins for making a mistake are so minimal.
Yeah, timing for Mendy as well, isn't it? When he got injured and was maybe out of form, a new boss comes in who doesn't know him, doesn't have that faith, and now Kepa does. Anyway, 4 minutes gone. Man United have the ball, playing it across their back line. Cucurella presses high on Anthony. Anthony has run that ball into touch over the sideline in front of Graham Potter, who's up on the edge of his technical area. It's a very tight technical area here at Stamford Bridge. Only maybe about 5 yards from where Potter's seat is to where the limit of where he can stand is.
It's not like the good old London Stadium.
No, where you can do maybe 100 yards there and back. Maybe that's why they did it, because it's the Olympic Stadium. I don't know. In tribute to Usain Bolt, they made it a 100-yard technical area.
The one thing I will say about the game so far, United are away from home, and yet they're playing very short and they're allowing Chelsea to close them down. And I always just think you're away from home and you know that you're under pressure. Team are going to have to come out the blocks at you, turn them around. You've got Rashford through the middle, turn them around. They've got the old Warhorse sweeper in Thiago Silva, turn him around, get him running in the direction he doesn't want to run. They haven't done that. They've just played in front of Chelsea and they've just allowed themselves to be closed down. And as we're seeing now, all they keep doing is going backwards and sideways. So they've gone 30 yards into the attacking half, they've come back 60 yards again to go back in their own half.
5 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0 here on Premier League Live. A reminder, at TalkSport Live is our Twitter handle, which we are monitoring here in the commentary positions. At TalkSport Live, find us, follow us, and let us know where in the world you are listening, your thoughts on the game. And, well, I did say we wouldn't mention him again, but if you do see Cristiano Ronaldo, do let us know. Send us a picture. Maybe send us a picture to prove Ronaldo isn't there. I don't know. Maybe you've got your Ronaldo shirt on. Do let us know in photograph form. At TalkSport Live, again, the place to do so. We always love to hear from you and your thoughts on the game too, as Casemiro on the halfway line fires a spinning ball forward towards Jadon Sancho, who runs at Chalobah in the penalty area. Left and right, then does go back to Bruno Fernandes, who was waiting for it. In the end, Mason Mount was more alert, wins it back, and Chelsea can clear from the right back area. Chalobah.
Well, that's come about from Sancho. The opportunity, give it to Fernandes earlier. He doesn't. He buys his time, tries to beat a man, and by then the gap was filled.
Brilliant play there. Ruben Loftus-Cheek wins the ball loose in central midfield and finds Aubameyang running towards the penalty area. Aubameyang, and then I would describe that as kicks the football.
Yeah, I think there's
a long way from goal. I don't know what it was.
It just looked poor. Even when he's running with the ball, he did not look confident or in control of the football. Everything just seemed cumbersome. And he's running that ball on the left side, and there was no belief in what he was going to do next. I don't think he knew what he was doing, that Aubameyang. We had to do him, but he was never going to score. Start again, play the ball back. He's just outside the penalty box. Give it back. There would have been Chilwell just behind him, maybe Jorginho just inside of him.
Throw in Manchester United on the far side, which Luke Shaw will take into Bruno Fernandes. Tries a flick round the corner, breaks back to Mason Mount, who was too sharp again for United. This time too sharp for Shaw, but not Martinez, who sees it out over the end line for a goal kick. Quick question to you, Paul, on Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who did really well there in central midfield. This is his 9th start this season and appeared in every single game, was a star performer when England made the World Cup semi-final in the last World Cup. An outside bet for Qatar?
I'm going to say no. No.
Not on current form? You know Gareth Southgate likes him?
I'm not seeing enough in current form, to be perfectly honest. But you just don't know. You just don't know what you're going to get from him, to be perfectly honest. He should be eating his football. He should be one of our great players at this moment in time. As a young kid, he was deemed a great. He just hasn't shown enough appetite. While he's been on loan, he's never really cut it.
Man United coming forward here, left-hand side. Luke Shaw, it's opened up for him, and he's taken a drive from the edge of the penalty area. Kepa was sort of interested in it. He stretched out a left arm, but I think it was always going wide from the goalkeeper's vantage point, and it did.
Well, that's the first time Manchester United have been in the attacking third for Chelsea. Yeah, Kepa knew that was going wide. He pulls his arms away, but at least Luke Shaw's the first Manchester United to tread into that area in a positive manner.
Had a great shot, didn't he, against Tottenham a couple of days ago, Luke Shaw, that volley which Lloris saved.
Well, I mean, it's worked out well for him. That little bit of competition with Malacia has made a difference. He's come out and he's having a go now. The hardest thing for him is to keep it going.
Yeah. Here's Kepa in goal. Ball at feet, away to our right. Approaching 10 minutes gone. The score is Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0 on Premier League Live. The ball is played down the right channel towards Mason Mount from Azpilicueta, but that's a bit too heavy and goes into touch. Of course, no Reece James for Chelsea at the moment, out with a knee injury, likely to miss the World Cup, and Chelsea missed him a lot last season, and they're missing him again now.
And certainly, I mean, for me, he's the best right back in the country. He's complete, everything about him.
Chelsea with the ball back in midfield. Mount too sharp again, this time from Casemiro. We've got a break in play here because Azpilicueta has gone down from an earlier collision. Chelsea got on with things. It was from the first throw that... Well, it's Sancho and Azpilicueta. We're watching the replay here, and it kind of looks like Azpilicueta pushed Sancho and then went down clutching his face, as opposed to any sort of swinging arm or anything. That's first viewing from a distance, so maybe we'll get a closer replay. Oh, I don't know if you saw anything in there.
No, I didn't. I mean, I just saw that. I mean, they've just kind of shook hands as such, so it was deemed accidental.
Or we'll get him back later. It's a throw-in down the right-hand side, midway inside Manchester United territory. Azpilicueta, the captain, takes the throw. Flicked on by Sterling to Aubameyang, who lets it bounce. Shaw wins the first, Mount wins the second, Azpilicueta wins the third, and Sterling gets away from Eriksen, not for long. Casemiro and Varane combine to win it back for Manchester United. They release Anthony down the right-hand side, who's got the pace and green grass to exploit. He chops inside, cuts it back to Eriksen. Right to Dalot, Chelsea regroup. Corner of the area, right-hand side, Anthony overlapping. Dalot to Fernandes, to Anthony, slightly overhit, keeps it on, right-hand side, nudging his way forward. Back to Bruno Fernandes. Short again to Anthony. Rather stuck by the corner flag here, Manchester United. The attack has lost its verve, but they've kept the football.
And that's the problem when they do go down this near side to us. With Anthony, he's never going to go round the outside because of his fondness for his left foot. He just will not hit anything with his right foot.
How much of a problem is that, do you think, for a top-level player?
In that Tottenham game, it showed up. There's so many opportunities got him just to put the ball across early with his weaker foot. An early cross is better than a delayed good cross with your better foot. And in the end, he just never made it, or he didn't attempt it. And then, as we just see now, you lose that momentum there. The opportunity to get him behind Chelsea and for people to attack it facing the goal. In the end, they're all standing there waiting for a cross. That's never going to happen when the ball's on his right foot. And when it is a left-footed one which is delayed, it's incoming on top of centre-half's head, so they're winning the ball and hitting you as well.
United coming again. Nice play here from Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen left to Shaw in the offensive third. Back to goal. Bruno Fernandes on the ball. He'll find Anthony, who turned on the edge of the 6-yard box, edge of the penalty area even, and puts it towards the bottom corner. Kepa made the save. It didn't quite have the power on it. It may have been dropping in the corner. It's palm round the side for a corner kick.
Well, that's the best attacking bit of play we've seen from either side, and that was going in. It was a lovely strike, and what he's done, he's stepped inside. I like that as well with wide players. I mean, he's willing to work the touchline, but he stepped inside into the middle and put in a lovely curling shot.
Corner taken, crossed by Sancho. Ooh. Evades Varane and Kepa and Chalobah all the way through. I think that's going to be another corner. May have touched a Chelsea hand or head on its way. We're getting a replay now. I don't know. Did that hit somebody?
Did it come off Loftus-Cheek?
Another replay here. I'm not sure it hits anyone on the way through.
No.
It has gone for a goal kick, which Chelsea have taken short. And they've chipped it out right to Azpilicueta, who can make up some ground over the halfway line. No one's come to him, so he keeps on going. Beats Shaw, far too easy. Right to Mount, cross comes in, chance here for Aubameyang, but Varane stretched out and got there first.
Varane has done absolutely fantastic there, facing the wrong way, and that could have just been an own goal. But Luke Shaw has virtually gone down like someone asked him to take the knee. He's gone down so easy, 5 yards away. He has gone down on his knee, and he's just allowed Azpilicueta to go past him as if he wasn't there.
Good defending by Varane. Corner for Chelsea on the attacking right-hand side. Chilwell over it, Mount over it. Taken short. Back towards Sterling. Corner of the area, right-hand side. Cross comes in, away by Rashford. Cucurella can't control it. Then knocks it some 70 yards back to Kepa Arrizabalaga in his own half. Returned back by Kepa. Away by Dalot. Loose bouncing ball will fall to Christian Eriksen, who volleys a pass forward to Anthony. The retreating Thiago will get Chelsea back on the ball. Sterling back to Loftus-Cheek. To his left is Ben Chilwell, who can carry Chelsea upfield over on the left-hand side. On towards Chilwell again. Poked down the line to Sterling. Varane too strong. Has he kept that on? I don't think he has. It's a throw into Chelsea by the corner flag.
Just a little bit overplayed a little bit there, Chelsea. And what they try to do, they've been trying to be too intricate in everything they've done.
We're 15 minutes gone. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Possession is 70-30 in the favour of Manchester United. Just the one attempt that came from Anthony a couple of minutes ago. Save by Kepa. Throwing clear by United as far as Chalobah, right of centre, 45 yards from goal. His pass right is awkward for Azpilicueta, but the old pro keeps it in. Into Mount. Away from Shaw, but that's a poor pass to Chalobah. They contrive somehow to keep possession, Chelsea, before it's eventually nicked back by Shaw and Eriksen. Casemiro finds Eriksen. Very tough pair of midfielders to get the ball back from, Casemiro and Christian Eriksen. Not panicked in that area as well. Two vastly experienced footballers.
Well, that's the difference got in midfield now. They've got two players who treat the ball as if it's their own, and Casemiro and Eriksen. They won't give it away too cheaply.
Here he is again, Eriksen, halfway line. Mount is snapping at his heels. It's released right to Anthony. Overlapping is Dalot as Manchester United approach the offensive third. Leaves it short for Anthony, very short for Anthony. Chilwell nearly nicked it. Anthony's done well just to compete to win it back. Into the centre circle where Martinez has it. Bruno Fernandes, bit of space. Slips it through the gap. Jadon Sancho, left-hand side, doesn't cross. Back to Bruno Fernandes. Cushion for Shaw. Onto Sancho, who's got to be offside. Well, Jadon Sancho here, I'm not quite sure he is quite as alert as his teammates at key moments.
No, he wasn't. That's the second time he's had the ball, maybe on 3 occasions. That's the second time where it was needed something early. Got a lovely ball played on the inside of Azpilicueta. That goes across the box early. Marcus Rashford is waiting to attack it early, and after then the whole thing goes dead. They overcook it, and Sancho ends up getting caught offside. He needs to play things early. If you've got making a run in, and Marcus Rashford has made a run in behind Thiago, and he doesn't get the ball delivered.
No. A couple of moments there where Jadon Sancho hasn't quite been as alert as one would like. Still a bit short up top, Manchester United. Anthony Martial is out injured yet again. We mentioned Ronaldo earlier in the programme. Don't really have many options there in the attacking position, certainly at central striker. If they wanted to move Rashford back out left, there's no one there really. This is Funny when you think about it with Manchester United, the sheer amount of outlay, and still one position remains blank. Chelsea in possession. Surprising for a Graham Potter team to see them having less possession than the opponent as they clip one forward towards Loftus-Cheek. That's a poor touch from him.
The thing about it, though, when we look at it, he's got more quality players, but the players that he kind of brought in and he tuned them to the way were better in possession than what these top quality players are at Chelsea.
Jorginho onto Loftus-Cheek. Sterling back to Cucurella. Infield to Chilwell. Long way from goal here, Chelsea, around the halfway line. Back now to Thiago Silva, who goes diagonal. Well, we mentioned the pace of Aspilicueta as opposed to Reece James. Even Reece James wouldn't have got that awful crossfield ball that goes into touch.
Ooh.
We've just seen an image of Reece James on our monitors. I'm assuming he's dyed his hair green for Halloween.
He's dyed it to match his jacket, or his big winter coat as well,
there you
isn't
are.
it?
Yeah. He looks like a DC Universe Joker. That's what he looks like.
Well, but his initial colour, and he looked like Cruella de Vil.
Wasn't she Home Secretary? Ball is with Manchester United around the halfway line. Topical political humour there on the programme. Didn't see that coming, did you? Here's Ericsson round the corner, over the top. Chance for Fernandes if he's onside. Flag doesn't go up. He's done really well to keep United in possession.
Lovely ball by Ericsson there, just to pull it in behind where Cucurella was, and he just turned Chelsea around as well.
Looking very comfortable on the ball, Manchester United. Something maybe we couldn't have said for the best part of the last couple of seasons, really.
I'm going to say more than that, to be honest, really. In a long while I've seen them so comfortable in the game against a top team.
Casemiro, Ericsson, Fernandes. I mean, that's a bunch of players who love the football. And here's Casemiro outright to Jadon Sancho, trying to add that X factor here in the opposition box. Goes for a 1-2 with Ericsson. Ericsson played it. Sancho stopped running. Goes through to Kepa.
Yeah. They are struggling, Manchester United, in wide areas. They've got an Anthony, they've got somebody who can do a job up and down. But just with Rashford on the left and with Sancho on the left, it's been a big, big problem. Getting no consistency out of them at all.
A couple of hellos on social media. AFC BNC listening to Chelsea Man United while cutting the grass. Zoggy the Gooner out on a kayak in Seacliff, Long Island. And Rick is also doing some, looks like, yard work. He says, hello Tom and Paul, I just want to let you know Ronaldo is helping me with the yard work here to clean up the leaves in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. He's camera shy and didn't want to be in the picture. Very nice, Rick. Thank you very much indeed. Keep him coming in at TalkSport Live. United have won the ball back in Chelsea territory. Anthony slips in Sancho. Sancho again hadn't made the run. He's done well to keep it in just about. No, the ball has rolled over the end line and that's out for a goal kick.
That was a wonderful ball by Anthony, but the ball should have been made by Sancho showing where he wanted it and making that run. He never reacted until the ball left Anthony's foot. That was poor. He's asleep at this moment in time. He is not understanding about, I've been saying about him, he does not want to run without the ball at his feet, which is a big problem if you're a wide player for Manchester United. You have to be able to run without the ball.
Chalobah's terrible pass goes straight to Luke Shaw as United have pressed high. And they're now in possession in Chelsea's half. Casemiro protecting the ball from Mason Mount. Goes to ground. Little bit of Dunsethery there, bit of gamesmanship from Casemiro.
Well, he was being pulled initially, but he's gone down and he's forced the ref to do it. He's got his arms around him, he's pulled him. In the end. Yeah, no, Tom. If he'd gone down when the actual shirt was being pulled, I would have gone yes. The bit after, I agree with you.
They're just lying to us all the time, aren't they? They're all lying to us all the time.
No, I don't understand why they do it, Tom.
Must be Tory party members. We've got a free kick on the left-hand side, midway inside Chelsea territory. Christian Eriksen is over it. Short to Bruno Fernandes. To his right is Luke Shaw. Attack kind of breaks down here, but United keep it. Bruno Fernandes. It's out on the far side now to Sancho, running at Sterling. Into Rashford, back to Sancho. Here's Bruno Fernandes again. Into Anthony, he's away from Chalobah, he's away from Mount, hits the deck and gets a free kick for Manchester United. It's right of centre, 35 yards from goal. Good spot.
I think that was a foul, to be honest. He's blocked him. I mean, he's had to work hard there, Anthony, to get it. And he does work really hard on it to come away from Chalobah. And there was contact, and I hate saying there was contact between him and Mason Mount. Was it enough to knock him over? Of course it wasn't.
Yeah, I think it's a foul though, isn't it? I mean, it's not. I agree with that completely, but you've got to jump over it, haven't you, there? As opposed to Casemiro. I don't know. Who knows what a foul is? That's been given. They're rescinding headbutts these days, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Can't rescind Steven Gerrard getting the sack though, can he?
Well, maybe if he hadn't been sent off, they might have come back.
Yeah, well, exactly.
No, I watched the game, there was no way back.
No, but you never know in football, Paul. Right. You never know, as Christian Eriksen can testify to. He's the man over this, as is Rashford. I think Rashford fancies this. He's hit it hard, hit it low, hit it into the centre of midfield where Jorginho has maybe had his first touch of the entire game to deflect it away to Mount. And Chelsea clear it long. Up towards Aubameyang. Shaw gets there first. Aubameyang gets there second. It's a throw-in which goes the way of Chelsea on the far side.
I would like now Marcus Rashford to understand what he done at Stamford Bridge in the League Cup a couple of years ago.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, but he's never been anywhere near it since. Stop taking free kicks. You've got someone who's excellent with the ball, a dead ball in Eriksen. Let him do a job with it. Marcus Rashford, please try and become a centre forward.
But if he takes another free kick like that and we're watching the game,
I'm going to have to eat a lot of humble pie tonight.
Yes.
But I'm willing
It's been said now.
Yeah, I know, but I'm willing to go with that. And I'm willing to eat a humble pie. I don't know what it tastes like, but I'm willing to eat it. But he will never.
I assume bad.
Yeah, but I'm willing to. No, I think.
Otherwise, we'd all be eating humble pie all day.
No, but I think it'd be quite nice because I'm willing to actually own up to the fact of, or take charge of the fact of, I called someone out.
Next time United get a free kick, get your ovens on, folks. Here is Marcus Rashford driving forward down the left-hand side. It's on to Jadon Sancho, running at Azpilicueta. United in the area. Sancho gets into trouble again with the ball caught under his feet, allowing Chalobah to nick it. It's a corner to Manchester United. 25 minutes gone, 0-0.
He was very, very fortunate again there, Sancho. He's dragged in two players. That's when you stop and you look for the extra man coming in, because he's taken two players with him. Dribbling wise, you don't see him go past people enough.
Seeing lots of the ball though, Jadon Sancho, in the opening 25 minutes. It hasn't put him off that things haven't quite gone his way so far. There's a corner on the right which goes back short. Rashford, Fernandes, back heel to Rashford. Cucurella intercepts. Not really seen a good corner routine as yet in this game, as Shaw gets there before Sterling. And Man United right now are bossing this game. Fernandes, Anthony over the top, and once again in that final third it breaks down, and Kepa has mishandled a bouncing, spinning ball, and that goes out of play for a corner. You enjoyed that, didn't you?
That was absolutely crazy there from Kepa. I mean, it seemed just far too easy. You could just let it go for a goal kick, not a problem. And it wasn't that bad a spin. He's just took his eye off it. It was too easy for him, wasn't it?
Kepa of old returns for a moment. Chelsea fans will hope not for long, as Christian Eriksen's over this corner on the attacking left-hand side from a Manchester United perspective. Once again it's short to Bruno Fernandes. Eriksen overlapping. Here he is now. Once again they pass again to Jadon Sancho, who runs at Azpilicueta, who pokes it into the area. Cut back from the far side to Cucurella of Chelsea. The Blues clear it, but no one's up there. So once again the ball can just be taken back from this throw to Manchester United, who at this moment in time, Paul, they're not creating great chances, but they're dominating the match play.
They certainly are doing that, without a doubt. But at the moment they're not opening up Chelsea. They haven't worked Kepa at the moment. Kepa's form looks like it has gone back in years. So they need to get shots off to get around him, because I just think he's on edge at the moment, Kepa.
Well, Chelsea on edge. You can kind of hear it, can't you, when they cleared that ball up and no one was anywhere near it. Eriksen's pass right wasn't great towards Dalot, but I think Dalot would have controlled it if not for Anthony, who seemed to tackle him, then complain at him. Goes out to play for a Chelsea throw on the halfway line. If Chilwell will take in front of the two managers who stand on the edge of their technical areas. Erik Ten Hag in zip-up roll neck with a smart black coat and trousers. To his left is Graham Potter, who goes for a kind of sportier version of the same attire.
I just think we're seeing two sides who are just making stupid mistakes with the ball, just sloppy, just, taking it out of play. This hasn't been good so far.
Well, I think United will be the happier of the two teams. They've won the ball again upfield. Good work, Eriksen and Casemiro. Here's Bruno Fernandes. Chance now for Rashford on the goalkeeper. Kepa comes out. Just able to get something on that. Maybe they were just too close together for Rashford to dink him. It's cleared away for a United throw on the right.
There was no chance of Rashford dinking that. He's just had to try and go through and maybe pull it through his legs. Kepa was too quick off his line, closed the space down really, really quick.
Chelsea win it back. Chilwell for a second has it, but it's a clearance that goes straight to Anthony. Casemiro found by Varane, knocked back to Martinez just inside his own half here for Manchester United, who are right now very much in control of this game. On a ground they very much enjoy playing on. Unbeaten in 6 visits here. In all competitions, that is. They've got a draw in the Premier League last season at Stamford Bridge. Crossfield ball here is overhit. Now to play for a throw. Shaw's not happy. Why is Shaw not happy?
He's not happy because he was trying to be lazy again. The ball's gone out. He's kicked the ball out of play from not a great pass from Eriksen. They've got to chase the ball. I don't know who is with him. Oh, it was Azpilicueta. He's got to get the ball. Luke Shaw, being lazy, doesn't want to run back quick. Decides he wants to block him and stop him throwing the ball quickly. Instead of running back to where the ball might go, he's decided to attack the man with the ball in his hands.
No card, I don't think, there for Luke Shaw, despite a bit of an off-the-field altercation between the two. And it's all a bit odd, that, as well. I was watching Everton maybe last week, and James Tarkowski did a big Burnley clearance, which was like, it's on the sideline, if I hit this up into the stands, I've got time to recover. But we're multi-ball now, there's balls everywhere, so that doesn't work anymore. So even what Shaw did there doesn't work. There was another ball there.
Yeah.
They could have just got on with it. So, a bit of a culture shift there in the Premier League at least.
Well, that's a bonus, and because when you look at the times that the ball's in play now in the Premier League, it isn't good. A lot of time lost.
We're approaching 30 minutes played here at Stamford Bridge. It's a throw-in for Manchester United on the halfway line, left-hand side, but Shaw will take. How annoyed do you think Erik ten Hag is that this match-play dominance has not really unearthed any massive chances?
I think he has to be, because when you have this control of the ball, you've got to, at the worst, make opportunities and work the goalkeeper. They haven't done that, United, with all their dominance of the football.
Have Chelsea defended well?
I would have to say yes, because the keeper's not had a lot to do, Tom. So that's the one thing that's definitely they have sewn up Chelsea. But we're not really seeing the we're not going to see a Graham Potter team until next season, are we? And then we'll see a different Chelsea.
Do you get that time at Chelsea?
There must be some. They must allow him a little bit, at least. Well, surely he'll get maybe from August till September.
Very generous in the modern football world.
That's me. I'm willing to be like that.
You're a generous guy.
Yeah, we're getting near Christmas, mate. I'm willing to give.
Yes, and there's no games over Christmas this year as well for us. There are World Cup games, of course, but it shouldn't be the sacking season for Premier League managers, which I think we're in, actually. Everyone seems to be going at the moment,
everyone's doing it, aren't they? Before Christmas.
Wolves have gone. Villa have gone. 2 clubs without a permanent manager right now in the Premier League, as Jorginho picks up a loose ball in central midfield and finds a forward pass to Mason Mount, who's been buzzing around in today's game, not really having much of an effect in the offensive part of the field. Sterling to Jorginho, to Ruben Loftus-Cheek, back to Jorginho. Chelsea in the centre circle. Looks to slip a pass through to Mason Mount. A couple of late challenges there, and in fact going to be a yellow card here to Anthony for the first challenge there on Jorginho from the initial release.
It wasn't really necessary what he's done there, Anthony, and he's just virtually just pushed his hip into him after the ball's gone. It was late. Not with the feet were on the floor. He's just used his hip in, pushed his hip in towards Jorginho.
It wasn't really necessary there.
No,
was it?
not
what's
at
he
all.
doing? Where's he going?
Yeah, no need at all for him to do that.
Jorginho not been able to have his trademark metronomic presence on this game thus far. He's there with his free kick, having won it for his team. Desperate to go back. Here he is, Cucurella to his left. Pass blocked by Anthony. Chelsea keep it. Chilwell back to Cucurella. We'll go a long way back to Kepa, and you can hear the frustration there of the Chelsea fans. They had the ball in United territory and have knocked it back to their goalkeeper. Strange. Long towards Aubameyang. Won by Varane, but nicked back by Mount. Forward by Chilwell. Deflects off Dalot. Throw into Chelsea left-hand side, midway inside United territory. Chilwell takes quick into Aubameyang. Back to Chilwell. Chilwell along the sideline, back towards Cucurella. Loftus-Cheek, centre of the field, just ahead of the centre circle. On to Chalobah, right to Azpilicueta. Chalobah again will find Loftus-Cheek. We'll find Thiago, and United are pressing well. Chelsea keeping the ball. They pop it into Mount in space, who turns away from Varane. Nobody really ahead of him to pass to, and it's a pass left now to Chilwell. Challenged by Casemiro. United have it, and Rashford's breaking here, and he's running at Thiago. Towards the penalty area, Rashford still going! Saved by Kepa to his right. A blast from Rashford. Thiago forcing him to take the shot maybe a bit further out than he wanted. He's had a play for a throw on the left-hand side, and I can tell you, Chelsea are preparing a substitution here. Such has been the dominance of the away team to this point. Graham Potter very concerned, and understandably so. I just cannot work out how Thiago Silva's allowed him to have that shot. And be honest, it was Kepa who's kept him in the game. Here they come again, Manchester United. Anthony right-hand side, deep cross over everyone. Brought down by Sancho, corner of the area, chops and shoots. Saved by Kepa and held by Kepa, and that wasn't easy there. It came through a crowd, and if he'd have spilled it, Rashford would have been there. He wasn't able to turn it home. That's a save. He got a touch as well as it went into Wolves, so it's shifted a little bit further to the keeper's left-hand side as well. He's done really, really well. Paul, really, to save it. Paul, we're hearing here that Mateo Kovacic is about to come on for Marc Cucurella. The ball is not into touch as yet, so we'll need to wait for that change, but I haven't noted an injury. I mean, there's always things we don't know, of course, but I think that may well be a tactical change coming for Chelsea. Not yet, as they look long down the left-hand side. And in fact, Cucurella, have a look at him here, as the ball goes back here to Kepa. Does he look injured? No, he's not injured. It's tactical. He's going to a 4 at the back, because he's just going to put an X. He's looking at maybe just a little bit in midfield more than anything. Chilwell will go to left back. Aspilicueta will go to right back. Chalobah and Silva will go through the middle. A bit more of a 4-5-1 than this 3-4-3, which has not worked so far, I think it's fair to say. Another central midfielder on. Something Tottenham have done to great effect at times this season when Basuma has come on for one of the strikers. Here's Mason Mount, who's nodded the ball onto himself here. Cross comes in. That's a really good ball. A teasing, spinning one. It's away by Martinez. Picked up by Christian Eriksen. So we can find a pass back to Shaw. Picked up far too easy there, Christian Eriksen. That would be a disappointment for Graham Potter. They didn't close him down. Fernandes over the top. Rashford wasn't running for it. Goes through to Kepa. 35 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Mateo Kovacic definitely coming on. He's stripped and ready. Ball hasn't gone into touch. Here's Raheem Sterling. Bit of time and space to turn and approach the penalty area. Right to Aspilicueta, whose cross was massively off target, overhit, now for a goal kick. And here is that change. Just wonder what Cucurella's reaction to it will be. It's he who is going off, and Mateo Kovacic coming on. And I think, you know, it's tough to come off in these circumstances, but it's evident the tactics aren't working here. I mean, they're getting bossed here by Manchester United. They are, and Cucurella's not going to cause a fuss. It's his old manager, and I think he understands it. That's what subs are there for, to use them in that way. You've got 5 now. Yep. You've got a lot to choose from. Well, one wonders whether that might be a bit more of a common occurrence now, because you can make so many changes. Maybe when it was 1 or 2 or 3 subs, you might have been a bit more, I might need that later. You've got half a team to bring on still. Yeah. We'll see what the shape turns into in a moment. But the battle with it, though, especially in the Premier League, you're making those substitutions early, is the fact of the egos of a lot of the players as well. Well, Martinez and Mount getting stuck in here, the two of them competing for a loose ball, and Martinez kind of fell on the ball. Mount's then saying, well, look, what can I do? He's fallen on it, it's obstruction. And the referee's given a free kick United's way, somewhat generously. Martinez has given him a little shove. What was he called? The Butcher of Amsterdam during his time at Ajax, Martinez, and it's Mount getting spoken to. I can't believe he was doing another job then while he was playing football. The wages weren't great. Yep. That's why he's come to the Premier League. Well, I'm surprised here that it's not Martinez who's getting a little speaking to here by the referee, but there we are. Not much about the Butcher. That's true. I'm just trying to work out the formation here, Paul. I think it is more of a 4-5-1 with Chilwell now at left back. Aspilicueta going through a more traditional right back role. Kovacic certainly coming in central midfield next to Jorginho. Loftus-Cheek maybe a touch ahead of those two in a sort of number 10 position. Maybe they're all playing kind of 6-8 now as Casemiro dives in on the back of Kovacic, and it's Casemiro, so it's got to be at least 10 fouls before he gets a yellow card. Those are the rules, I think, in European football. It's a free kick on the halfway line.
Those two would know each other, wouldn't they, from Real Madrid?
Yeah, sure. Maybe that's a bit of revenge for something happened at training some years ago. Casemiro, Varane, Ronaldo, Kovacic, all teammates at Real Madrid for around 3 seasons. There's a chance, breaks here for Aubameyang. It was Sterling bundling through a crowd. It ricocheted to Aubameyang, who tried a first-time shot. It bobbles harmlessly wide. Coming though from Kovacic.
Yeah, it was all about him there. He's shown a purpose going forward, and he's made a difference there because Sterling starts it, goes to Aubameyang, he just gets to faint the touches. We've just seen there is De Gea's just watched it just go past, just making sure, following it with his hand just to make sure it goes out for a goal kick.
Well, already there, the wisdom of Graham Potter's substitution may be shown to us. Jorginho into Kovacic made that happen there, but being in that position where no one's been all game.
Well, I think we're seeing as well Sterling, they've actually gone to a 2 up top, haven't they?
It may well be 4-4-2, you know, yeah.
Because Sterling's on that more on the right hand side.
It's like a 4-3-1-2 with Mason Mount playing a little bit further forward than the other midfield three. Here he is picking the ball up in that pocket. Back to Jorginho, right to Sterling in space. Questions to answer now from the Manchester United defence. Cross comes in towards Mount, away by Varane, falls to Jorginho, flicked it into nowhere in particular. Kovacic wins it back, a lob forward towards Sterling, who won't keep that in. That's a goal kick for Manchester United. Better from Chelsea, 40 minutes gone, 0-0.
It's definitely better by Chelsea. This is their best bit of the game at the moment. The substitution, as you mentioned, Tom, seems like it was the right decision because there's more purpose in them going forward. And they've been better in the final third. They've created something. They've kept the ball longer in the final third than what they had done for the previous minutes gone by.
And I can tell you now, Erik Ten Hag is sitting here with the brains trust on the Chelsea bench, and he's got the iPad out, he's got the counters out, he's working out how he'll change his formation to get back at what Graham Potter has done. It's not like the old days, is it?
No, it's not. Tell me about them.
Dalot, lovely play to get away from Thiago Silva, who'd gone walkabout there, and there's a bit of space here for Fernandes. Ball though was behind him. It's a first time cushion back to Anthony, then to Eriksson. Shot by Eriksson. Decent effort from Christian Eriksen from distance. It bounced in front of Kepa, who was scrambling right, but the shot goes wide.
He's done well there, Christian Eriksen. There wasn't a lot going on in front of him. Luke Shaw killed the space for him to go wide. So he's just used that, and he's just stepped inside on his right foot, gone for the keeper's near post. Not that far away in the end.
Once again, Chelsea take their goal kick short, and then Chalobah goes long. Here's Loftus-Cheek to Kovacic over the halfway line, left-hand side. Chilwell, early ball. Aubameyang! Oh, he didn't turn it towards goal. It was a lovely spinning cross. The flag has not gone up. Aubameyang couldn't get the right body part to the ball.
It's just a shame about his technique there, really. That a lot of the top strikers would have killed that in one.
Lovely technique. Anthony's away from two. And he finds Rashford back to goal. 1-2 with Casemiro. Rashford turns forward, tries to fire it to Bruno Fernandes, but Loftus-Cheek has won it back. Eriksson has tripped him up. Free kick goes the way of Chelsea.
Can I just say there, the referee was watching where the ball was going to go. He actually didn't see what happened with Loftus-Cheek there. Did he actually get any contact on him for him to go down?
Replay here on Aubameyang.
Should have done better, shouldn't he, Tom?
Just kind of come off his toe on the stretch. Could he have done a diving header, maybe? I don't know.
He could have done better than that. I'll tell you what, I think we'll see a Haaland do better than that.
Tough standards to be held to, though.
Yeah, you're right as it goes.
Could have done a Dowey, maybe. Yeah, diving header.
At the wrong end?
Yeah, yes. Oh, Stockport still gives me nightmares. Well, we're coming towards half-time here, Paul. It's been an interesting game. I think intriguing is probably the right sort of word. How do you assess it to this point?
Pretty even in certain ways, and in the way it's going. Does look at it going in at half-time 0-0, maybe, with just over 3 minutes to go, maybe just about right. But if you're talking about a team playing with purpose, it has to be Manchester United. Chelsea are only showing their bit now from the substitution by the manager, so you would say that's great. That's a positive move by Graham Potter. The fans are going to be with him on that one, because he's gone and made this substitution rather than going in being negative as they were prior to that.
And here is Kovacic driving through a gap here toward the penalty area. Pass intercepted. Loftus-Cheek turns it forward again. Going to bounce harmlessly into the arms of David De Gea. I don't think that'll go down as a shot. Could well be their first shot on target. I don't think so. Who knows what the bean count as a shot.
I was about to say one of them would tapping away would pull it as a shot.
Here's Mason Mount, wins the ball upfield, cuts it back. Raheem Sterling, control, pass. Aubameyang miscontrols it. There was a sliding challenge coming in from Dalot that may have put Aubameyang off. From Dalot that may have put Aubameyang off. Challenge coming in from Dalot that may have put Aubameyang off. The ball upfield, cuts it back. Raheem Sterling, control, pass. Aubameyang miscontrols it. There was a sliding challenge coming in from Dalot that may have put Aubameyang off.
Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Jonathan Woodgate with us here, high in the East Stand at Stamford Bridge. And Chelsea with Jorginho playing a ball high out to the left-hand side. Chilwell got a heavy touch on that. Dalot came in and was able to put it out of play for a throw-in. Away down in front of us. Here's the substitute. Kovacic driving it in towards the edge of the box. Cleared away by Martinez.
Deal with that.
Yeah.
That was fired right in.
Martinez got the more meaningful touch. Chelsea again through the middle. This time Jorginho, lovely pass into Mount inside the penalty area, but that was held up by Dalot. Well played again by the right back, and it's through for a goal kick. And that's it, half-time, with exactly 1 minute of...
Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Anthony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Anthony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Anthony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Anthony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Anthony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Anthony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Anthony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Anthony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Anthony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Anthony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Antony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Antony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though. Time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. United dominating proceedings until a change towards the end from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. But Manchester United have had chances. Rashford denied twice by Kepa. Sancho had a shot saved. Eriksen fired wide. Antony fired wide. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's putted one past the far post as well, but Chelsea were under the cosh for the 35 minutes. Kovacic was thrown on for Cucurella. Since then, it's been all Chelsea who have regained control in midfield. Promises to be a fiery second half. It's still goalless, though.
Rejoin us then as the second half gets underway at Stamford Bridge. A half of two halves, really, in terms of the first 45 minutes, because at one point they were under pressure with Chelsea. They couldn't get out, they couldn't get going, they couldn't really do anything. And before they knew it, they introduced Mateo Kovacic into the game in place of Marc Cucurella and had a real foothold in it. Myself, Tom Hill and Ben Rogers brought you all the first half action. And it is a game that is nicely poised, Ben, in this start of this second half. We hope it continues in the same vein. And hopefully we get an exciting next 45 minutes or so as Sterling gets to the ball and tries to work it out towards the left-hand side. Jorginho flicks it back into him. It's not the best pass at all from the Chelsea player. And off they go on the attack again. Manchester United, but it's stopped in their tracks. Here is Shaw at left-back. Down the line it goes to Sancho, who's holding up proceedings, prods it back. And it's a risky pass back from Sancho. So the teams are as follows. They go in midfield with Kepa in goal. It's then a defence of Silva, Chalobah, Chilwell, Azpilicueta, Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho and Kovacic, Sterling, Aubameyang and Mount. As for Manchester United, it is De Gea, Dalot, Varane, Martinez and Shaw, Casemiro, Antony, Eriksen, Sancho and Rashford. And we enjoyed the first half. It was tense, it was close. I'm hoping for more of the same.
Yeah, it was really interesting tactical battle, wasn't it? You've described it really well there. It was a game of two halves, and it certainly was that, because the opening 25 minutes or so, Manchester United were really dominant, created a few chances, didn't quite have that clear-cut chance, and Kepa denied Marcus Rashford, in arguably Manchester United's best chance of the half. And then you had Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He had a couple of opportunities where he actually broke in behind the lines, but couldn't quite sort his first touch out, and then he had a shot which went whiskers past the post on the first time. But since Mateo Kovacic got introduced for Cucurella and Chelsea changed their system, changed their structure, changed their shape to the back four, they definitely improved a lot. As a long raking ball forward there, Antony's in a foot race with Arrizabalaga, but really well snuffed out actually their sweeper keeper by the Spaniard. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Chelsea can continue in the same vein where they left off in the first half, because I was really impressed with them sort of the last 10-15 minutes in particular of that half, where they just got a foothold in the game and started to peg Man United back and create a few chances going forward. Because I mean, we had that stat after about 35 minutes, Chelsea had 2 touches in the opposition box, which is really worrying, and they haven't had too many more since then, but they're certainly improved towards the back end of the first half.
Yeah, they did. Not that they could have got much worse on the ball in the front foot. This weren't doing anything, were they, as Azpilicueta comes forward. But Kovacic, world-class player, operator that really delivers in that midfield. As Azpilicueta on one side, Chilwell on the other, gives them the width. Here is Chilwell into Mount, and Mount gets inside, gets a touch and wants a throw, which he doesn't get it. He waits all the time for Mount for that ball to trickle out. That's why he lets it go. That's a telltale sign, I always think, for a player that he's happy to let the ball go. That tells you that it hasn't touched him last.
Yeah, but then I just feel like he was trying to kid the referee as well, because he was kind of pegged in the corner, and I feel like It was the sort of the ricochet off the pair of them. I'm not quite sure who actually touched last from our television pictures, but Mount just tried to kid the referee perhaps by letting it go. Loftus-Cheek strikes one from distance, well blocked by Christian Eriksen, and behind for a corner, and Loftus-Cheek found himself in a nice pocket of space there for Chelsea. And since they've sort of adopted this three in the midfield approach, they've just started to have more joy inside, because out wide on the flanks with a 5-back, it wasn't quite working, was it, with the overlapping runs of Azpilicueta and Cucurella. But now they've moved to the 4-back with Chilwell and Azpilicueta operating the full-back positions with Sterling and Mount either side of Aubameyang. It's had more success as Manchester United seem to be ready in Fred as a substitute. Not quite sure who that's going to be before. Maybe Eriksen.
Yeah, I mean, he was the replacement, wasn't he? Eriksen came into the team for Fred. He's been pretty quiet. They're trying to match it up, what Chelsea have done.
Well, Fred, of course, scored midweek against Tottenham, and he had a really good game as well, Fred. He was one of the best players on the pitch, so it was quite a shock to see him dropped. But obviously, this is the sort of thing that Erik ten Hag wants. He wants to have competition for places. When you're bringing in Christian Eriksen for a man like Fred, you know, they're two really good players, and it's one where there's not going to be too many complaints from Manchester United fans, because they know how good Eriksen is. He's a more than capable replacement for Fred, but maybe his race has been run here, because I can't see Casemiro or Bruno Fernandes coming off.
No, maybe not. Maybe it's like a flat 3 that he's maybe going to put, flat 2 that he's going to put in. Eriksen, of course, isn't. I don't really think Eriksen's an 8. I think he's more of a player that sits in where Fernandes does. He's done a decent enough job, but I think Fred's a better weapon in that area. As here comes Casemiro, prodded forward to Eriksen. 50 minutes gone. Eriksen coming forward. Out wide it goes towards Anthony. Up the line will be, or down the line will be Dalot. Up the line is Casemiro, and it is the Brazilian that he uses. And goes back to Varane. 50 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. And Varane, cool as you like, just lays it sideways to Martinez. Fired forward, and it's into Shaw. Shaw flicks it outside to Sancho. Down the line, it's got to be quick here. Oh, it's unlucky. A little bit less power from Sancho. Shaw's got across. He slaps the thigh in frustration, but the right idea was what he produced. He just couldn't get the execution right.
Yeah, good movement from Luke Shaw, and again, Jadon Sancho's not quite hit this game running, has he? He's been on good form this season, Jadon Sancho. He's been a reason of Manchester United's upturn of success, but he's not quite been able to. Well, and just as I say that, he's the man that's being replaced with Fred, and I think that's a good change from Erik ten Hag. In fairness to Jadon Sancho, like I said, he's enjoyed a better start to the season than what he has in recent years with Manchester United, but this game so far, the opening 51 minutes, it's just not been quite for him, and Azpilicueta has dealt really well with him, and now it seems that Manchester United are the next team to change shape in this interesting chess battle. It's Fred on, just Sancho off.
It is, as Dalot goes across to right back to try and get himself in. Trickles over the line, so he has to go back and stop it. And
perhaps a 4-3-3.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work that out now.
Maybe if Bruno's going to go left, or perhaps Bruno through the middle and Anthony and Rashford either side of him. But it looks like Bruno might be left, Rashford through the middle and Anthony on the right. 4-3-3 perhaps, and that might actually help Christian Eriksen play more in an advanced role with Fred and Casemiro behind him as well. As you've alluded to there, Eriksen's a lot more comfortable going forward, isn't he?
Yeah, Fernandes crosses, it's headed away by Chalobah, only as far as Anthony, who's gone to recover at right midfield. He's got to the ball. Kovacic comes to cover. He turns past him, fires it forward. He was looking for Eriksen. It's just too far in front. Just a little bit too much zip on that pass. And it is into the hands of Kepa, who brings it under control. And I mean, he's a bit raw, is Anthony, but he's certainly a live wire. You can tell he's very passionate to play for Manchester United.
Put a ball into the box, onto the head, though, of Chalobah, who heads it out to the far side. Anthony has taken up possession for Manchester United, works in field, but then trying to slip it through for Eriksen, just passed it through to goalkeeper Kepa, really.
It's like a game of chess with both managers. Potter's made his change first half, now Ten Hag, who makes the next one to win the game. That's what they'll be looking at. So you can see both managers trying to get the better of one another at this time in the game.
Chilwell went for the early ball there, but put too much on that. There was no way Aubameyang was reaching it, so Manchester United come forward again. Fred onto the field. This is his first involvement. Jorginho comes across, puts that out of play. He's quite maligned, isn't he, Fred, by some of the Manchester United supporters. But I think what's telling is that the managers who've worked with him And it seems that they've all liked Fred, and I think they've all played him. You know, he's never been someone who's been left out for long periods of time. And of course, he starts for Brazil, and it looks as though he'll be in their team when the World Cup starts.
Because you can imagine he's the type of player who gives absolutely everything for the club. You can see that when he plays. Okay, sometimes lacks a little bit of quality, but he's a Brazilian international playing for one of the biggest teams in the world in Manchester United.
Shaw to Rashford, and then Bruno Fernandes came across, and the ball, as the challenge came in, it bounced away and behind. United were giving it all of the body language that they thought it was a corner. Referee Atwell said no, goal kick. Bruno Fernandes still waving his arms around, unhappy down there. And the television shows us that it should have been
a goal kick.
A goal kick. The referee got it right. Despite all of that, Bruno Fernandes. So Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. By the way, Torquay 0, Altrincham 2 is the latest in the National League kickoff this evening. And more Premier League commentaries on 5 Live tomorrow, as well as the US Grand Prix, incidentally. Tomorrow evening we'll bring you that live. But the two main games on 5 Live tomorrow, Southampton Arsenal and Tottenham Newcastle, and it is now Torquay 1, Altrincham 2. The other matches tomorrow in the Premier League, either on Sports Extra or commentary via the BBC website. Martinez takes this free kick now for Manchester United. It's headed away for Chelsea on the edge of the penalty area by Azpilicueta. Comes back to Shaw, who plays it in field. Casemiro is there. Casemiro works it forward, and then a flick brings the ball back to Dalot, who's making ground through the middle, but ran into a nest of blue shirts on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area, and then Loftus-Cheek was fouled by Fred, and it's a free kick for Chelsea.
A beautiful flick from Eriksen in the centre of the pitch there, and it was Dalot. I just thought he could have gone on a couple of more yards. I think it was Chalobah who just gets to him in the end, but a brilliant touch by Eriksen. He's the vision of Eriksen in that role. If he plays 8 or he plays 10 or 6, he still has a brilliant role in the team to play because of his vision.
Joga Silva's ball away, comes off Anthony and bounces out of play for a throw into Chelsea on the far side. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Throw in up the line. Comes off a Manchester United head. Sterling plays it out towards the left, and Aubameyang has got away down the left-hand side. The challenge came in on him, but the touch was crucial. Another lovely touch from Aubameyang to take it away from Martinez. Manchester United man that was initially beaten is still down, but Kovacic plays the ball into the penalty area. Oh, Sterling got it all wrong at the back post. He tried to lay it off with a cushion touch. It comes back to Sterling on the edge of the area. He plays it square, but the referee brings it back for a foul on Bruno Fernandes. In the middle of all of that, when Chelsea won the ball back for the second time, and the United man who's down on the far side, who I suspect is Varane, who was beaten by Aubameyang.
He just got turned, didn't he, there? Varane, I hope he hasn't...
Not another injury for
No,
Varane.
I hope not, because it's good to see him play a run of games with Martinez. It looks like he just got his feet mixed up. Well, he should be all right off that. Just looks like he trod on his foot.
Unless he jarred something, but I mean, he was just beaten.
Yeah, he was beaten. Then Martinez dived in, and Casemiro come across and put the fire out. That's what he's done all game. He's brilliant in that area of the pitch, reads it so well.
But Varane is still down, so this is causing a little bit of concern for Manchester United. While he receives treatment, let's go back to Bolton and England, France, and Katie Smith.
England 42, France 18. It's a late consolation for France. They've been knocking on England's 20-metre line, though, in the last few minutes. Eventually laid off to Catalan's Dragons' Artur Romano. Goal kicked by Morg. We've got less than 3 minutes now to play. England 42, France 18.
So England on the way to victory. Hear it on Sports Extra. Varane's still down. What are they looking at, Jonathan?
It must be something more serious than we thought it was him. I hope he hasn't hurt his knee. He looks in pain.
He's lying on his side. He's lying on his right side, and it was just a stretch with his right leg, and he planted his foot and then went flying. And it's very difficult to say. I mean, he does look in some distress, actually. Yeah. And I know that Erik ten Hag, rather like Ralf Rangnick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer last season, he had injuries, and they've been careful with him. Erik ten Hag's been resting him, and he's now actually getting to his feet. You can hear the boos, but he's pulled his shirt front up over his face, and that suggests that he knows that this is not good. And that to me as well has got potential World Cup problems. His reaction here.
Yeah, it's such a shame now. You don't want to see it happen to any player in the game. It looked innocuous at the start, didn't it, John, when you saw it? But then it looks like he's jarred something. I hope it's nothing serious. Because
this reaction makes it look as though he knows that this is serious. And this reaction does make it look like he knows that this is bad enough for him to miss this World Cup. And at the age of 29, and Victor Lindelof is going to come on to replace him. And Varane is off the field now, and he's actually going to walk around the pitch. And he had the very front, he had his front shirt collar pulled right up over his face, which made it look as though there were tears there. But now he's walking away, he's pulling up the bottom of his shirt to wipe his face. He's got to walk all around in front of the Matthew Harding stand. So I'm not sure how sympathetic they're going to be to him there. Not terribly is the answer to that. And they're goading him there, which is not terribly pleasant.
I have great sympathy for him, because I've been in that situation when you've got back fit and you've worked so hard and you've sacrificed, and the next minute it's taken away from you, your body lets you down again, and it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah, we'll have to wish him the best. He's actually going to walk around in front of the goal rather than go behind the goal. And the stretcher bearers are also doing likewise, yet play is continuing. David De Gea strikes the ball downfield, so that's the second Manchester United change. Varane is off with just over half an hour to go, and it does not look good for him. And obviously Harry Maguire continues to be out, having missed the last 6. And Chelsea coming forward now. Lindelof onto the field to replace Varane. Sterling running towards the penalty area, gives it to his left to Aubameyang. Aubameyang's ball across is blocked away. 2 defenders in there. Lindelof gets a slap of the hands from Diogo Dalot, and the ball's out of play for a throw-in near the corner flag.
It's the most we've seen Sterling today. It's been his reel. He just whipped it off Casemiro's foot and darted for him. When he runs like that, he's difficult to stop. His little choppy strides. But that's the most we've seen of him so far, Sterling. One of England's best players for this World Cup, I do have to say.
Throw in for Chelsea. Lindelof gets up high and heads it back out towards the far side from where the throw-in came. The Chelsea left, played back in towards the edge of the area. I notice Varane has just reached the halfway line here, the dressing room area. Ball with Manchester United, Fernandes. Fred plays it across slightly behind Anthony, but Anthony's able to recover. Give it to Eriksen. Eriksen square to Fred near the left corner of the box. Eriksen plays it in, but that was neither one thing nor the other, and it was straight through. I don't know whether he was caught in 2 minds, but if it was a cross, it was way beyond anyone in a red shirt, and if it was a shot, it was well wide of the far post.
2 minds or 4 minds. All he had to do, Shaw was coming like a train down the outside of him. I'm sure Shaw would have been saying to him, just hold it, now release it. I mean, he tried, I don't know what he tried there. John Cross comes short, but got it horribly wrong.
Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Long one forward from Martinez.
It's player Martinez, like.
You like him?
His eyes a player. Yeah. I love aggressive defenders who are always on the front foot.
Yeah. Well, as we've been saying, Erik ten Hag knew exactly what he was going to get with him, having played for him at Ajax. And I'm sure we'll see him in the World Cup for Argentina as well. And no one's talking about his height anymore, are they?
No, because he's that dominant. I'd like to see Mitrovic play against him, or back in the day Chris Sutton type. But he's a very good player. He's very impressive.
You know, don't you? You're going to have to compliment Robbie Savage at some point during this second half, otherwise there'll be trouble later. So you can think about that. As Martinez plays it back to Lindelof, who's behind him. Shaw on the left-hand side. And then Fernandes passing it back to Martinez. And Martinez is chipped forward, is headed back by Loftus-Cheek. And Chelsea go infield from Loftus-Cheek, just curling it over the top of Rashford. Forward from Thiago Silva. Here is Kovacic now forward and low to Aubameyang. Back to Kovacic, but his pass was slightly behind Chilwell. Dalot has gone out there to dispossess Chilwell, which he has done. Well played, Dalot again. He's had a good game. Back it goes from Casemiro to Lindelof. United still with it in their own defensive third, and in fact it's been won back by Chelsea in there, so the home side have got possession back, but under pressure on the halfway line, Thiago Silva gives it back to Kepa. So yes, if you want to talk to Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage tonight, the lines are open: 08085 909 693, or you can text 85058 or get in touch, hashtag BBC 606. Groans from the Chelsea supporters. Kovacic's pass doesn't find Chilwell, and it's out of play for a throw into Manchester United. And back to Bolton. England-France, Katie Smith.
Full-time, England 42, France 18. Another big win for the hosts, which now all but secures their spot in the quarter-finals. 5 try scorers, some potential selection headaches coming up for Sean Wayne, but a couple of moments of sloppiness to address too. The atmosphere, though, better tonight. The momentum continues. Up next, Greece in a week's time. It finishes England 42, France 18.
Yes, coverage of all of these various World Cups between now and Christmas here on 5 Live and Sports Extra, and it is 4 weeks until the FIFA World Cup begins. 4 weeks tomorrow. 5 Live is going to be your World Cup station. From breakfast every day onwards, we'll have live commentary on all 64 matches, either on 5 Live and Sports Extra via Sounds, or on the World Service as well. So you'll be able to take the World Cup with you wherever you go on BBC Sounds all across the BBC, whether it's on radio, TV or online. Ball played forward for Sterling, but Martinez was in there again with
pure rash.
Yeah, straight in with a challenge, put it out of play.
So aggressive there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I bet Sterling hates playing against Martinez, because similar height, low centre of gravity, just as sharp as Sterling, I'd say, in 1v1 duels. Difficult to play against.
Well, what he did was, in that first passage of play after Lindelof came on, he ran straight towards Lindelof as opposed to Martinez, Sterling, when he was carrying the ball. Here he is again, Sterling on the right-hand side, taking on Shaw, getting the cross into the near post, a stretching away from Martinez. Manchester United are able to get it away. Chalobah wins it back. Azpilicueta now down the right-hand side. Mason Mount is there, plays the ball between 2 Manchester United men to Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek's cross comes off the head of Shaw and then loops wide and behind to the near post for another Chelsea corner.
That's 3 out of 3 duels in the second half that Chalobah's dispossessed. Rashford there, strong with that him, wanted it more on the front foot. Rashford needs to be strong in that position and get hold of the ball, and he's got to know there's a man behind him.
Chelsea corner. This one from the right-hand side, so it's going to be Chilwell to take it in front of the Matthew Harding stand. Lots of Chelsea fans on their feet here. Chilwell swings it into the edge of the 6-yard box, but that's well headed away, got it well, headed it away, Casemiro. Chelsea, though, played back out to the right, but it's allowed to bounce and run down into the full-back position, and is volleyed to the halfway line by Bruno Fernandes. Comes back into the Manchester United half. Fred, Chilwell is there. Ball comes down for Sterling, and Chelsea have got it back inside their own half. Chelsea have had more of the possession in the second period. Manchester United much more on the back foot, but Chelsea really have yet to test De Gea in the Manchester United goal. Mount now on the right-hand side. Mount looks up, but Fred's there in front of him, so he's trying to take it round him, which he does. Mount round Fred, then the cross straight onto the head of Manchester United's Martinez, who heads it down. But then Bruno Fernandes plays it forward. Rashford's on his heels, but I mean, if he'd been full tilt, he wouldn't have got anywhere near that Bruno Fernandes pass.
Nah, but I can see what Bruno Fernandes was doing, because it was the right pass, but Rashford just looked like he was struggling for a second still from that Chalobah challenge.
So far, Chelsea have had just the one shot on target. Here's Bruno Fernandes through the middle, though, and Chalobah is able to slide. Otherwise, that would have reached Rashford. Manchester United come again. Anthony's almost doing juggling tricks with the ball without being aware of it. Gives it square. Now, Eriksen with the ball into the penalty area. Rashford couldn't get there. Thiago Silva did first. He was the favourite, and he whacked it away right.
What a touch, John. what a brilliant touch by Eriksson. Just had needed a little bit more direction, but the weight of it looked beautiful. But do you know what, Anthony doing that, it annoys me that, because there's no one near him, he's doing stupid tricks. It's a showboat, and it's like what you do when you're drawing 0-0 and there's no one near you doing a trick. Bit annoying.
United forward towards Rashford, who chests it off, but chests it straight off to Kovacic. But Rashford suggesting that he'd been fouled by Chalobah. I'm not so sure. Kovacic is able to carry the ball forward. Now Sterling's on the left-hand side again, and then in goes Casemiro with the challenge. Chilwell follows it up, plays it back to Kovacic. Kovacic moving infield, low ball to the edge of the area. Nice turn from Mount, but Lindelof got enough on that. Martinez got enough on that on Mason Mount. And United, with Eriksson, is able to get there first on the stretch. Here is Anthony taking on Chilwell. Chilwell forces him to check back to Eriksson. And then, as he is put under pressure by Jorginho, Eriksson just drags the ball back and gives it in field to Casemiro. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Now it's Shaw. Luke Shaw, who I see these days has gone all Jack Grealish, hasn't he? Fernandes is claiming that he was fouled by Azpilicueta. Well, there wasn't a great deal in that, was it? I mean, whether he just sort of caught him on his heel or... In fact, I think he's saying that he pulled his boot off. He pulled the heel of his boot off. So referee Atwell spotted that, so it is a free kick to Manchester United. And he's making the point, Fernandes, of pulling that left boot back on, which he still hasn't successfully managed. So it's a free kick that Manchester United will take. Referee, after a couple of chats, allows them to take it. Fred, with a heavy touch. Chelsea clear it. Mount now in the centre circle. Sterling on the left-hand side. Sterling is running at Lindelof, and then across comes the challenge from Casemiro. Edge of the box. Sterling went down into the penalty area. Referee Atwell was probably 5-6 yards away. Had a clear view and said nothing doing Chelsea. No free kick or penalty indeed if it was inside the area. Chelsea come again. Mount tried with the pass. This one was just cut out by Shaw. I think Mount thought he was going to execute that, but he wasn't able to. Still 0-0. Jonathan Woodgate.
The work Casemiro does there to help Lindelof when Sterling was 1v1 with him goes unnoticed, but those are the type of players you need in your team to do the work that no one sees.
Yeah, that's what you get for 60-70 million pounds. Sterling on the left-hand side, low ball in, that comes off the defender, Lindelof, and it's another corner to Chelsea. 0-0. I think there is a genuine question of whether we'll see a goal in this match. Both defences have performed so well recently. It's not a game where there's been a stack of goal-scoring opportunities. However, it does feel that it is very finely balanced. And here is the latest corner. Oh, that's poor from Mount. Miskicked it, and Fernandes was able to clear it away.
I do have to say, John, as we were eating our onion bhajis,
yes,
for lovely. Our pre-match, which were really nice.
Onion bhajis, they were.
Slight bit of spice in them. You did call the draw.
I did, yeah, and I think I might have suggested there might not be many goals as well. As the ball bounces out of play off the head of Bruno Fernandes, and it's a throw into Manchester United. So talk about either this or indeed what else has happened today. Nottingham Forest 1, Liverpool 0, the big early talking point. Some really eye-catching scorelines in the Championship as well today. Burnley winning 4-2 at Sunderland after being 2-0 down. Sheffield United 2, Norwich 2 after Norwich were 2-0 up. Free kick for a foul on Jorginho, 10 yards inside the Manchester United half. Bruno Fernandes, who's cutting quite a frustrated figure, actually, although it's Fred who caught Jorginho. QPR top of the Championship after their 2-1 win against Wigan. Blackburn won again, 2-1 against Birmingham. Here's Mount. Mount now playing the ball towards the left-hand side to Sterling. Sterling, little flick from him. Chilwell to the byline. Chilwell tries to put the crossover, but the defender went with him, and it was blocked behind by Dalot. And it is a corner to Chelsea. Their pressure is beginning to build, the home side pressure.
Yeah, it is. And Dalot's got his hands full there because they're trying to really overload him with 2v1s on Dalot's right-hand side. But he's doing well at the minute, Dalot. Much improved under Ten Hag. Better 1v1 defender. Gets lower in his body position, not so much upright.
Chelsea's latest corner. This is a better one. Deep to the back post. Chalobah with a header! And it's over the top. De Gea flung an arm up. I wondered whether he'd actually got a touch on that, but in fact it clipped the top of the bar on the way over. Just clipped the top of the bar and looped over into the lower tier of the Matthew Harding stand.
Fred does enough, just enough to put him off, and that's all you can do sometimes if you're the smaller man. Just try and put him off, and that's what Fred did.
That's it for Aubameyang today. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who had one shot wide in the first half, so he's off.
Hasn't really been involved, has he?
Not really.
Martinez has done a good job on him for Varane when he was on. Hasn't really had a kick in the game.
So Pulisic coming on. So what are Chelsea going to do here? Mount's staying centrally at the moment, so Sterling on the left. I wonder whether Sterling might have been going to play as the false 9. But at the moment, well, let's just see how they play this. Does look as though Mount's going to play.
As a turn, could be a diamond formation maybe, with 2 wide strikers.
5 Live, BBC Sounds, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. 4th against 5th in the Premier League, and Chelsea with a throw down the right. Shaw heads it infield. Eriksen's got it back. 15 minutes or so to play before 6:06. 08 085 909 693 to book your call. Here's Shaw down the left, and then Rashford is there as well. Rashford has Chelsea players either side, so it goes back to Martinez, and now it's back to the slightly hunched figure of Victor Lindelof on the ball, long sleeves, then across to Martinez, and then back to Lindelof again, who looks up. He's going to go for the long pass for Rashford, but Azpilicueta's underneath that, able to head it away quite comfortably. Jorginho with a header forward, Casemiro in centre field, Kovacic comes across, Dalot with a touch, then it's worked infield towards Casemiro and Eriksen together, and then Casemiro mishits the pass in centre field, so Loftus-Cheek has got it back, and then Loftus-Cheek's pass back to Azpilicueta, almost nicked away by Fernandes. It is Manchester United with Bruno Fernandes, who's going to try a shot from distance, and Kepa going down to his right had a good enough sight of it, but it did have a bit of whip on it, and he's just pushed it away behind for a corner.
Better safe than sorry, I think, on that occasion. It was a stingy one, and it was hard for him to get hold of it. But when I've watched Man United over the last 2 games, they're having some shots from outside the box compared to the game against Newcastle. They had hardly any shots. Last week against Spurs, and now against Chelsea, they will take shots if they're not closed down.
Still goalless here at Stamford Bridge. Eriksen with this Manchester United corner. Their first of the second half to the near post, easily cleared away by Azpilicueta. Torquay have come from 2-0 down to lead 3-2 against Altrincham in the National League. Ball in from Rashford towards Lindelof. Now back to Shaw to Eriksen, flick to the outside of his boot into the path of Fernandes in the full-back position, who is in an offside position. So free kick to Manchester United, and 13 minutes to play plus added time. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. With every minute that passes, we're closer to the 0-0 draw, which would maintain Chelsea's unbeaten start under Graham Potter. This his 8th match in charge. Champions League for Chelsea this week. They're going to Austria. We'll bring you commentary on that on Tuesday night. Champions League commentaries on Tuesday and Wednesday. And Manchester United will be at home to the Moldovans, Sheriff Tiraspol, in the Europa League on Thursday evening. Manchester United with a throw on the halfway line that Dalot comes up to take. Dalot looking for Eriksen. The throw goes up towards Bruno Fernandes, who plays it back to Dalot, a stretch to keep it in, and back to Casemiro. And then Casemiro lifts the ball to his left to Shaw, and Shaw now running at the Chelsea defence, then plays it square. Bruno Fernandes goes for goal, and he's landed his shot in the top tier of the Shed stand. I think in the second row someone patted it back down. So that, as you'll gather, was not close.
He's annoyed with himself there. You can see with his hand gestures, he's really annoyed with himself. It was a good ball in from Shaw. He just looked to open his body up. He opens it up too much. Smash it in the stand. If they look to his right, Anthony was blazing down the right-hand side and wanted the ball. That was the pass.
Interesting double change coming up from Graham Potter now. He's going to bring on Armando Broja. So having played for probably no more than, what, 5-6 minutes with Noah Aubameyang, now Broja's going to come on. So he is going to have the big man there. And also young Carney Chukwuemeka is coming on. The 19-year-old as he is now, turned 19 on Thursday. Only his third substitute appearance for the former Aston Villa youngster. The England under-20 international as he is now, but really caught the eye against Brentford in the time that he was on the field. So Chelsea supporters here at Stamford Bridge going to have a look at him. And it's Loftus-Cheek who make for Chukwuemeka, and Raheem Sterling is off. Hasn't happened for him tonight, Jonathan.
No, he has minimal involvement in the game. I do like Broja though. His loan at Southampton last season done the world of good. Just hopefully he keeps on getting game time now.
Still 0-0. Manchester United with the ball on the right-hand side on this dry evening. Ball played back for Eriksen. Eriksen's ball across, but that's got too much on it. Just balloons across, really. There was a defender coming across, but that lacked the quality that you might have expected from Christian Eriksen. And it's behind for a goal kick.
It was exactly like Azpilicueta's cross in the first half, wasn't it? And Fred's in the second half, going nowhere.
And now Manchester United are going to make a double change. So we're going to see Anthony Elanga and Scott McTominay come on for United. And they're going to do it now as well, before Chelsea take this goal kick. So the two who will come off will be Christian Eriksen. So McTominay coming on to replace him in the midfield. And you would presume that it will... It's actually Rashford. I thought it might be... it might be Anthony, but it is Rashford who's making way. And a little bit like Sterling, it hasn't happened for Rashford today either.
No, it hasn't. He's threatened a lot more, I'd say, Rashford. He needs to do better with his back to goal, because on a few occasions, especially in the second half, when he was up against Chalobah, the stronger, physical, more aggressive opponent, he struggled.
So 0-0 and less than 10 minutes to play now, and Chelsea with Chilwell on the left-hand side. It's the kind of game that it's been, certainly with 10 minutes left to play. If there is to be a goal, that'll probably win it for whoever scores it. Chalobah to Azpilicueta, and now Jorginho and Azpilicueta and Chalobah turn and go all the way back to goalkeeper Kepa, who passes the ball out from the back. Could be a 6th consecutive clean sheet for Chelsea. Long pass from inside his own half out towards the right-hand side. Oh, Azpilicueta, as it bounces up, he tried to chest it down and only succeeded in chesting it straight out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United. Luke Shaw, as I say, with his black socks halfway down his calves, takes the throw. Fred turns Mount and then lifts the ball across field, and Dalot is able to get his head down and drive forward with it, and he's taken it up to the edge of the area, and it needed Jorginho to come in with the challenge and for it to bounce away back into the penalty area for Kepa.
Some pace on Dalot there. He ran away from Kovacic. You don't always see that, but he was strong there in his movement. Just that it lacked a little bit of, I'd say, weight of the pass, or his touch looked poor.
But he looks now what he's become, a Manchester United regular. Started all 15 this season in all competitions. Mount loses the ball halfway inside his own half. McTominay across, Anthony with the touch, and then Casemiro is there. Casemiro away from Chukwuemeka. Kovacic is across as well, but Casemiro rolls it back towards the halfway line. And now Lindelof and Martinez together. Martinez across the field to Shaw on the left-hand side. Shaw back to Fred, and then Elanga. Elanga stabs it infield, but straight into the path of Jorginho, and Chelsea will play it out from the back. And Jorginho says to Chukwuemeka, off you go, and he does. And he carries the ball into the Manchester United half, but he plays it to Breuer, who's peeled away to the right-hand side. And now the Albanian Breuer takes on Martinez, who goes to ground and puts in the challenge and puts it out of play for a throw down the right.
See that 1v1 defending there, John?
Excellent.
You will not get better 1v1 defending than that. Low centre of gravity, moved his body the right way, moved his hips, didn't cross over. Brilliant bit of defending.
Throw in for Chelsea.
It was worth a clap. It was worth a round of applause.
Yeah, you got a clap for it. Throw in for Chelsea. Azpilicueta takes it. Chukwuemeka. Then back to Azpilicueta. And now Pulisic on the right-hand side. Pulisic's cross comes off Shaw, who's 7 or 8 yards away from him. It's hit low with pace. Another Chelsea corner. This is number 5 of the second half. It would be the kind of game that's decided by a set piece, wouldn't it? And really, so far, I think the only save De Gea's had to make was that sort of deflected effort that came off Loftus' cheek that was kind of played into him, which was a really comfortable save.
He's had minimal to do in the game.
Yeah, in terms of save making. Chalobah's had the header that came off the top of the crossbar. But corner from the right for Chelsea. Chilwell takes it in. There's a man gone down, and the referee says penalty. Breuer was fouled. Stuart Atwell got a view on it. He was decisive there, the referee. VAR will have a look, but the referee, I think, is very clear what he's seen here. Breuer foul, brought down, penalty to Chelsea with 6 minutes of the match to play. Manchester United don't like it, and actually it was McTominay, wasn't it? We're seeing now on the replay, he had his arms around him, Jonathan.
He had his arms all over him. It's lazy defending. It's like a bear hug. It's like a rugby tackle from McTominay. Like someone just going to run out the scrub and he's just taking him out.
And I think, actually, was it in midweek or was it last weekend when Perrault should have conceded the penalty?
Yeah.
And that wasn't given. And this one, I think possibly, well, I mean, it's a penalty.
It's a penalty.
It's a penalty.
It's lazy defending.
But certainly in the light of that Southampton penalty not being given, I think that this was nailed on. VAR are still looking at it, but I mean, if they don't back up the referee...
No, it's a penalty all day long.
It is. So Chelsea are going to have the chance. It'll be Jorginho likely, you would think. Surely it will be.
Yeah, you called it just before that, John.
Well, set piece. Penalty.
No. But it's lazy. Do your job in that area of the pitch.
Still, the discussions are going on, and just gets him a feet here because everyone's on their feet, and it's a yellow card shown, I think, for. Was that Fred maybe scuffing up the penalty spot?
Yeah.
Because all of the players gathered around the spot, and I think possibly they've spotted that Fred was up to no good in there.
The Brazilian scuffer.
Well. I've seen scuffers from you name the country. and Bruno Fernandes is talking to David De Gea. And what on earth he's telling David De Gea, who's not got a brilliant record, of course, of saving penalties, although he did save a couple last season, if you remember. He'd not saved a penalty for 5 years, and then he did save a couple last season. But this man knows what to do from the penalty spot. Doesn't always score, but he usually does. Jorginho against De Gea. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. This could be the match-winning moment from the penalty spot for Chelsea. Stamford Bridge goes silent, and now up comes Jorginho and scores. Sends De Gea the wrong way. Beautifully taken. Only the slightest of little delays in the run-up this time from Jorginho. But that was dispatched from the spot, and it's Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0, and there are only 3.5 minutes to play.
Yeah, good penalty from Jorginho, sent to David De Gea the wrong way, but McTominay, I don't understand what he's doing in that situation. It's just a bear hug, rugby tackle. It's a penalty all day long. But Jorginho steps up, as usual, pause. It's a lovely side foot into the back of the net.
Yeah, the bounce these days, the little hop, isn't quite as pronounced, is it? There was a stage where he actually, it was like a leap at the ball. Now it's just much less than that. It's more subtle.
And he looks straight at the goalkeeper as well.
So that is the 27th penalty that he scored for Chelsea out of a possible 31. Now that's a pretty good conversion rate. 3 this season, all of them from the penalty spot. And Chelsea lead Manchester United by 1-0. And the match that it's been, it's very difficult to see United coming back from this. So it looks as though it might be Manchester United's first defeat since the Manchester derby, as Shaw plays it forward to Fernandes. However, there is still time. Fred plays the ball in field. It doesn't reach Anthony. Dallo with a cross. McTominay with a header, but it drops wide by 4 or 5 yards. And again, Bruno Fernandes is suggesting there that it should have been a corner. But referee Atwell is having none of that. And they're just showing us on the screen again the challenge from McTominay. I mean, really, that's an easy decision for the referee.
They didn't even need to check VAR, because that was as well a bigger penalty than you'd ever see one. It's a penalty all day long, really, when you see it. That
needed one look. Yeah, he's got that spot on. And the referee knew. You know, it was an instant decision from Stuart Atwell. So there we are. Manchester United's run of clean sheets comes to an end. The first goal that David De Gea has conceded in 4 matches. And United now got to show the urgency. They only have a matter of minutes to come up with the equaliser, as Elanga plays it back to Shaw. Shaw has a look, will pass it back to Martinez. Manchester United, who've lost Varane's injury in the second half. That's a poor ball from Fred, and then Azpilicueta is found, but the referee plays advantage. Pulisic takes it on into the full-back position. United players are there, and the ball is allowed to roll out of play, and the referee is going to bring it back for that foul on Azpilicueta, and that's going to be a yellow card that is shown to Luke Shaw for what was a foul on Azpilicueta.
Yeah, it was slightly late as well. He deserved that, Luke Shaw. He deserved it, because he just tried to stop him, blatantly tried to stop him.
Yeah, that is an absolute. That's a yellow. That is as yellow as a yellow card.
Yeah, it's a luminous yellow.
Yes, it is. Free kick, Azpilicueta. Of course, the other thing it does, it means that Azpilicueta's gone down. He's got a chance to take a bit of time here as well, and get to his feet and hobble around a little bit, and then drop the ball accidentally. Goodness me, whoops, I didn't mean to do that, but I have done. Now I'll have to lean over and I'll pick it up, and then I'll hobble off the field, and I'll take as long as I can to take this throw in with Chelsea 1-0
They'll just see the game out now,
yeah, John. That's what they'll do.
They're experienced bunch, aren't they? They'll just see it out. Yeah. Although they haven't been great in this game. They haven't been great.
And Manchester United, actually, they've conceded a throw in, Chelsea. And we're now into added time at the end of the match, and we've just missed the board down below out of our sight, so we'll see how long is to be added on. But Chelsea, just a matter of seconds really from seeing this out and winning it by the penalty. And here is Pulisic down the right-hand side. 6 minutes of added time are being played. Lines are open. 08085 909 693 to talk to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 606. Hashtag BBC 606. Give them a ring if you're on your way back from a match today and you want to talk about something, get something off your chest. 08085 909 693. Chelsea take the free kick down the right-hand side. United are able to clear it partially through Fred. Then Elanga's in there as well. They're still in the full-back position. Elanga's been fouled. United take a quick free kick. Elanga receives it and then runs on towards the halfway line, and he's away from Azpilicueta, and he was caught by Jorginho, and it's a yellow card. It's a free kick. Bruno Fernandes comes running across. Stuart Atwell says, don't worry, I've got this dealt with. You don't need to come and get involved. It's a yellow card, Jorginho, for Jorginho, who was committed the foul, and then Martinez has got involved with him and shoved him over. And mind you, I don't think there was much contact there.
No, there was minimal contact, but
dropped to the ground.
If you're a Chelsea player, you're over the moon with Jorginho doing that, because he was dangerous there. Elanga.
Free kick into the edge of the box from Bruno Fernandes. That's headed away. Comes back for Shaw. Shaw takes this on, plays it out towards the left-hand side. Bruno Fernandes with a cross. That's not bad looking. Martinez was there. Remember, those saves from Kepa in the first half as well, Jonathan.
He kept them in the game, Kepa. First half, but since the change, since that after 35 minutes, Graham Potter making that change, Chelsea have looked a different team.
Throw into the Chelsea box, Thiago Silva on the stretch to head it away, and then it's hooked away further by Kovacic on the edge of the penalty area. So 6 minutes of added time. We're in the third of those 6 minutes. Manchester United, Graham Potter's trying to urge his team on, but Manchester United pouring forward down the left. Alanga's ball across, took a flick, might have come off Chalobah. Diogo Dalot's onto this. Dalot beats Kovacic into the box, pulls it across with his right foot, and Thiago Silva leaps in, dives in feet first, and clears it out for a throw to United on the far side. This is as thrilling as this game has got, really. We've now got some jeopardy. Throw in for United into the penalty area. Leap for it by Anthony. Alanga with his back to goal tries to bring it down, couldn't do so. Chelsea nipped in and cleared. Back to Shaw. Shaw, that's thrown on as well, I noticed there, as the United players ran to the supporters, but I've got a feeling that was more in celebration from the United fans. But Kepa leaping to his right, got a hand to it. It hit the post. He gathered it on or behind the goal line. The referee pointed to his wrist and said that the technology told him that it had crossed the line, and Chelsea have conceded a goal for the first time in 6 matches, and the replays that we're seeing now do confirm that. McTominay and Casemiro were together at the back post, but it was Casemiro with the crucial touch with his head, and it's Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1, and Casemiro has equalised with his first goal for Manchester United.
Yeah, the power he gets with that header, Casemiro, and guides it. I'm thinking it's nearly an incredible save by Kepa, full stretch. But you know, Casemiro, signed from Real Madrid, that's the team that don't know when to beat. And Casemiro's brought that to this Manchester United team. Never know when they're beaten. I thought Chelsea would just see this game out, but an incredible header in the end.
That was almost a wonder save from the Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa, but the technology revealed that it did cross the line, and we have had an equaliser. Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1, and we are now in the 6th minute of added time, but after that lengthy Manchester United celebration, I suspect it'll go beyond the 6 minutes. Azpilicueta forward, surely not another goal at the other end. Mount stretching for it on the edge of the box. Breuer is in an offside position, and the flag is up, and it's a free kick to Manchester United.
It's a lovely header, wasn't it? At first I thought Kepa had saved it, did you? I thought, oh my word, what a save that is. But it was just the way Casemiro rose above the defender, neck muscles were strong.
He actually grabbed it on the line, Kepa, having palmed it onto the post with his wrong hand, diving to his right. It's his left hand, he got to it and pushed it onto the inside of the post, but it bounced down. He grabbed it on the line, but the pictures, the technology certainly, and the pictures back it up. That
must have been millimetres, was it?
Close one. And that is it. Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1. There's the final whistle. Late drama, Jonathan. It wasn't 0-0, it was 1-1.
1-1, you called the draw, John, but first half, Man United were the better team until Chelsea changed the shape. And then from there on, it was sort of a stalemate, a game of chess, each manager making different changes, going to different formations. But then they got the penalty from a lazy bit of defending from McTominay, sort of a bear hug challenge, and then Jorginho puts the penalty away, makes it 1-0. Then they're just going to see the game out, but the ball goes into the box for Casemiro. He rises above the Chelsea defenders and buries the header. That player never knows when he's beaten. Signed from Madrid. Look how many Champions Leagues they've won in the last minutes of the game, and he does it.
So there we are, a 1-1 draw after Jorginho's penalty in the 87th minute. Manchester United equalising with a goal in the 3rd minute of added time from Casemiro. So Chelsea continue unbeaten under their new manager, 8 matches now under Graham Potter, unbeaten in those 8 matches. For Manchester United, they continue unbeaten since the Manchester derby. That's their 2nd draw in the last 3 matches that they've played, and they remain 1 point apart towards the top end of the Premier League. The Manchester United players go towards their supporters, but the final score here at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1, and now it's time for 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage.
Interested in betting.